Welcome to the FeelsCast. I'm Adam.
And I'm Ashley L.
And today we're talking about Saturday morning cartoons. For those who are too young to remember, back in the day, because we are old...
We're like 20-somethings. So, for those of us that are 20-somethings, you remember that precious time frame on Saturday mornings where cartoons were relevant.
There were a ton of cartoons every Saturday morning.
We're waking
on
up at
15 different channels.
Yeah, we're waking up at 7 o'clock on Saturdays.
Just
was not a thing that is unfathomable.
Yeah, it's a
that
thing
was
people
something
did.
People did.
It's a thing children did
It's
for
a thing
choice.
we did. I literally set an alarm.
Oh god, yeah,
for not a school day. This was before internet.
Yeah. So there were a million great shows from that era, from like, I don't know, 1990 to 2005.
Yeah, to about the early 2000s when they started to stop airing these.
On
that
like
was
different channels.
Yeah, because that was around the time where they also stopped airing it after school. Remember after school cartoons?
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, they stopped doing that.
That was so good.
Because I think the WB got bought out by CW. So they
the channel did.
Yeah, the channel. Not the company.
Yeah, not the company's way too big to be bought.
Yeah, the channel did. So we don't have like WB channel anymore, but it's on the CW. When after school it was still there, and then like after like a year of that they stopped, I think.
Yeah.
Because I remember running home to watch Mega Man.
Yeah. They slowly pared it down, and now there are no more Saturday morning cartoons on those channels.
There's still Saturday morning cartoons. You can still watch Yu-Gi-Oh!
No, that's gone.
It's gone now?
Yeah.
Really? It was still up like a month ago.
No.
They're playing Zexo. Or Zale.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
No. They were playing back-to-back Duelist Kingdom and Zexo.
Because I remember hearing that they shut down all Saturday morning. Like, the last bastion of that was on the CW. And they stopped that.
Huh. Well done.
But yeah. So, we're going to be talking nostalgia-filled shit about our favorite shows from the past.
Yes. Welcome to the Nostalgia Cast.
That's a different show. We won't get sued for that.
Fuck. I'll cut that out.
No, you just cut out the fuck.
What you thought I was talking about?
Hey, good point.
Jesus Christ, you're stupid.
So, I'm weird. I'm a hipster.
You are.
I have fond memories of a couple shows that when I bring them up, people always go, what? I don't know that show. And I'm like, this was the best show ever. Fuck you. And then I say that to their faces. The first one is Fillmore.
Which I do also like. I watched that.
Fillmore was a police procedural in a middle school. So it was all of the tropes and cliches of a cop show or cop movie or whatever, except they were middle school, like,
so it
safety
was like
guards.
Middle school problems.
Yeah.
Like who stole a cheeseburger,
that's
basically.
The thing, though. It wasn't middle school problems, though. They were middle school versions of adult problems.
Yeah, like, it's hilarious.
There were drug rings, except the drugs were like card games or like
I think it was
Waco tablets.
Maybe like candy.
There was an episode.
I know there was a drug ring episode, but I don't remember what it was.
There was. I remember one of the plots. This might have even been a subplot. Was about those really bad chalky candies that were from another country that were the perfect shape and size and weight of a quarter. So we were going to use them as quarters in the machines, and that would destroy the school's economy or something. I don't know.
I vaguely remember this. It was a great show.
Yeah, the show followed Fillmore, a ex-con, essentially. He was a troublemaker who turned good.
Yeah. Which is the greatest thing, because what cop show doesn't have that?
Yeah, and his partner, the book-smart and cool but, like, different, quote-unquote, girl, Ingrid Third, who had a photographic memory.
She was bae.
She was the best. Let me just say, I watched the show in some very formative years. And it was literally just cop show stuff, you know. They always had the mayor on their backs talking about, you know, the next, like, why haven't you caught this criminal yet? My election's coming up. Except the mayor was the principal.
Yeah. And I was just about to say, isn't the mayor like the principal? And then the chief was like
he was like a grade above them.
Yeah, and he was like just the head of the safety committee.
Yeah, he was like his Commissioner Vallejo.
Yeah, that was his name. Oh gosh, didn't he like have like a partner that went?
Yeah, he had a partner who was like the best at like identifying criminals. Like he was a criminal psychologist, except he was like 12, and like he had to get him back. And he's like, I need you back to help, man. No, I don't do that anymore. But they're like kids.
I know.
They had a Die Hard episode.
Did they?
Yeah, the episode where a bunch of kids are trying to steal the answers to a test. Cause
I
it's
remember this. Oh my
Because they're
God.
like, we're gonna fail if we don't get this test, and so Fillmore breaks in order to stop them, and he has to like run away from them and like hide from them. The whole thing is a Die Hard parody.
That's amazing. Now that would have flown right over my head.
Oh yeah, like I didn't realize it until like a month ago or something. I was like honestly just thinking about the show. I was like, that was a Die Hard parody.
This show's great.
It's,
Like this shows, it just shows that it was also kind of made with references to that the parents that are watching with the kids. They're kind of like, oh yeah, that's cute.
Like,
I really like that.
kids liked it because it was honestly a fun show that took itself very seriously. There was no like, I'm a police officer, but I'm 12, wink wink. It was, no, I have a job to do. I have to protect this city. I have a badge.
It also goes to show how much more diverse the cast.
Oh
were,
yeah, like
back in the day. Like I don't know why it's much more prevalent in shows for younger audiences than shows for more mature audiences.
I feel like for back then at least there were editorial mandates to have minorities in shows.
Maybe
because it was during
you...
the craze of education in shows where like every show had to have an educational segment. That's why like Animaniacs would have like a counting song or some shit, or the alphabet song, and it's like, all right, that filled the thing. Now we can have an episode where they beat up like Bing Crosby. God, the Animaniacs were weird, but like they also had a diversity in casting thing where like they'd have someone to fill every role. Like, oh, that kid is handicapped, that kid is black, and that kid's Hispanic, and that kid is Asian, and there's the white girl, and like it was a tokening thing. They had to have the token, but
it's not like the typical token that
we
have
like
now,
other people they did it better back then.
Yeah, they did it way better. Like Magic School Bus did it, and it kind of broke away from all the stereotypes. Like the Asian girl was a tomboy, the artistic one was the black one, the smart girl was the blonde chick, and etc. etc.
Though it did keep the weenie is the red haired kid,
and the jokes is the Hispanic kid. He is comic relief.
Yeah, Fillmore was kind of the same thing. The main character was black, his partner was a woman, and they were just playing up the whole cop angle. That wasn't even like part of the show. That was just, oh yeah, that's just who I am.
Yeah,
I mean, it was more important that he was an ex-con, which is so weird to say because they're 12. They did a Hannibal episode.
They did a what?
A Hannibal Lecter episode.
For real?
That's one of the earliest ones with the tagger.
I don't.
The episode is about there's a rogue graffiti artist going around the school, and in order to catch them, they must find they like talk to the worst graffiti artist in the school, and he's like in permanent like in-house suspension, and he is literally Hannibal Lecter. The whole episode is him being Hannibal Lecter.
That's crazy.
Yeah, with the cops having to go to him to talk to him.
All right, after this podcast, I'm gonna watch the first episode again.
It's so good. I think I have all the episodes with me.
I'm pretty sure you do because you gave me all the episodes.
Oh, God, Fillmore's so good.
Fillmore's the greatest. And they had, like, the best catchphrases. Like,
Disco. Dog. It's a horse! I'm sorry. I feel bad for just making references to the show now, but I have to.
Well, in order to get these references, everyone can just go rewatch Fillmore.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Beg Disney to make DVDs of it.
You don't have DVDs of it?
No.
Well, that's upsetting.
But, kind of really terrible, like, segue. A show that was really good in the past, that actually does have DVDs, because I bought them, because I was like, fuck, I want these. The Weekenders.
I did like The Weekenders. It was very cute.
Yeah. The Weekenders was about 4 friends, Tino, Carver, Lore, and Tish, who hung out on the weekends, and their crazy adventures, except they were usually just mundane, like, bullshit. It was very much a show for, like, it was a slice of life comedy, but it wasn't like, you know, oh, we have the wackiness. It was like, what are we gonna do today?
The voice actors for Tino and Carver were the same ones as Richie and
Static Shock.
Yep.
Yeah, the voice actor for Carver is the same voice actor for Jack from Samurai Jack.
Oh, that's actually really interesting.
I really feel bad for not remembering his name off the top of my head, but he's one of my favorite voice actors.
I know, he's great.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and Wayne Brady did the opening song.
Did he really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, listen to it. It's totally Wayne Brady. It's really weird.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So the show was like, it would start on Friday, their Friday. Tino would talk to the audience, which I always thought was a really cool device.
I've always enjoyed the fact that when the characters would break the fourth wall and just talk to the audience.
He'd be like, all right, it's Friday, and I got a love letter. bullshit, and it's like, that's how it starts, except with less cursing.
Yeah.
You'd have a problem.
Imagine Weekenders. Rated E.
Weekenders.
I mean, not rated E. Rated R.
Weekenders is essentially like me, our friends, us. It's Weekenders is the most realistic show.
Weekenders would have been us if we knew each other in middle school.
Yeah. But so
with 2 other people.
Friday or early Saturday, a problem would happen, and then by Sunday it'd be resolved. Usually with them learning a life lesson. You know, be yourself, even though no one will, a person might not like you. It's rude to pull pranks on people.
Yeah, I mean that's like
shoes are always sexy.
Yes,
Carver had a thing for shoes.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah. Also, Carver was. I recently have seen the show, and I really like The Weekenders. It's a show that I really get into because it's a really good show.
It is.
There's some canonical stuff about Carver, either like exploring his like gender stuff in like a small way.
Huh.
Yeah, there's a bit where like he has they're like, I think they're giving Tino clothing and stuff to dress, or giving someone clothing, and there's like a dress in there and it's Carver's, but he's like, that must have been my sister's. Yes. And just like Tish and Laura just kind of look at each other like, yeah, your sisters.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It was like some subtle stuff about, you know, either him exploring his sexuality or his gender or something. But it's also a kid's show, so they couldn't be overt.
Yeah.
It's a kid's show in the early 2000s. It's
in America.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, one of the things I always liked about The Weekenders was the fact that it's incredibly relatable in real life. Like, sure, it's a crazy thing that will happen to the characters that won't happen in real life, but their reactions to it, the way they talk about it. The one time they were like, remember that episode of this show we watched where the characters learned something? And then the guy's like, yeah, luckily for television we don't have to learn our own life lessons anymore. I'm like, you know what?
That is true.
That's true. Because, like, life lessons are sometimes hard to come about, and television helps you do that.
Yeah, I mean, like, in essence, if you push Weekenders to today's time, like, imagine Weekenders now, it's not going to be television. It's going to be, oh, yeah, I learned it all on Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, the internet is the answer to all problems. I worship the god of Google.
Who doesn't? Google-san, man. You gotta worship Google-san.
Kami Google.
Google
Kami.
Google Kami Guru.
Yeah, so...
Yeah. The Weekenders is another gem that a lot of people, like, don't remember or have glazed over.
Glazed over, probably. Like, I think if you've mentioned it, they're like, oh yeah, I kind of remember
that sounds
this.
familiar.
Yeah, it's very familiar.
Wayne Brady did the opening. Or did I imagine that? Because that doesn't sound real.
Oh, man. But yeah, Weekenders was great. I do remember bits of it, too. But I remember, I think it was Trish, right? She was, like, super vegetarian.
Yeah, Tish was a vegetarian and Jewish.
And Jewish. She was Jewish, kind of.
Kind of. She was old country, and she had Jewish tendencies. And also celebrated Hanukkah.
I think she was voiced by Phil and Lil's voice actress.
Yes, let's say yes.
I don't remember, because
I'm really bad with American voice actors.
I vaguely remember her voice, but it sounds like Phil and Lil's. But I could be completely and absolutely wrong, and then I'll have egg on my face. But that's alright. Yeah. I constantly have it anyway. It's good for the skin.
Carver likes shoes.
Carver likes shoes.
And Tino is the entire reason that I know sarcasm. That's not even a joke. Tino, the main character, Tino Zanatini, is a sarcastic little shit. I have adapted so much of his personality into my own. Like, just accidentally.
That's great. Alright. So, speaking of group of friends, another show that we kind of really liked was Recess.
Oh god, Recess was so good.
Because in a complete contrast to that, this was a school... This show was based on the school.
Yeah.
But during lunch recess.
So, The Weekenders is what happens after school. This happens during school. You watch both of them and you get a whole school week.
Yeah, basically.
7 episodes a weekend, or 7 episodes of Recess, 1 episode of Weekenders. You get a whole week.
It should be 5 episodes.
Look, I don't know math.
Jesus Christ, man. You went to school?
No, I didn't.
I was there with you.
I'm a hermit.
Okay, then that's creepy.
School is for suckers. Anyway, back to Recess.
So Recess is a good show, too, because, it also explored these, like... It's kind of like, if you were to cut the themes of Fillmore to the style of Weekenders, and you get, like, basically Recess, because they were exploring kind of, like, real-world problems on the Recess field. Like, I remember this episode where, I forget, I think there was, like, a guerrilla warfare thing.
Oh yeah, that sounds remote. I remember they did the Western episode with Dodgeball.
Oh yeah,
and Gus was like the Dodgeball kid.
Yeah, because Gus was the new kid, but his dad was like super militant.
Yeah, his dad was a general in the military, and Gus
like
was like followed in his footsteps.
And he's like the shyest dude ever. It's adorable. But I remember this episode. Remember when what is her name? Gretchen? No,
Yes.
not Gretchen. The tough one.
Ashley?
No. Yeah.
Oh, no, her name is Ashley.
Yeah, I think her name is Ashley, but she's called herself something else.
Yeah,
Spinelli. That's her name, yeah. Remember that episode where she was, like, super pissed off for, like, the entire show, and then she started to go crazy or something, and not crazy, quote-unquote. She was acting crazy, but she was kind of drawing all over the
Yeah, she just was, or she was drawing. She was drawing,
and it was, like, an episode where at the end you go into the room, it's like, oh, man, this is the most amazing thing. And then she's like, oh, I'm okay now.
Yeah.
It kind of, like, showed there are different ways to vent. Mm-hmm. And that was really nice that they had that episode.
Yeah,
and
that was a good lesson show.
Yeah, I kind of really connected to it because I used to really like to watch people draw, which is why I draw now, which is why it's the only emotional outlet I have.
And this podcast. Vent like I do.
I don't vent like that, though.
Yeah,
That's the thing, because I'm not a talker. Mm-hmm. I do things with my hands.
Like punch people and stab me.
Yeah, that's why I broke my hand.
Stabbing me.
I punched someone.
Yeah. But no, I actually always liked how the Recess crew, the main characters, were semi-inspired by Hogan's Heroes. Were semi-inspired by Hogan's Heroes. Hogan's Heroes is a very old show from, I want to say, the 60s or 70s about a Nazi prisoner of war camp. It's a comedy. I should tell you that now. It's a comedy about Nazi Germany. A group of prisoners of war who are part of do secret war information gathering, and they do disrupt German plans and stuff like that. Or, we're testing this new plane, and they're like, oh, we found out we're going to send that information to America or to Britain, and then they help people escape, but they themselves don't escape.
I remember this one episode in Unreasonable. I just remembered it literally. That I guess the supervisor or something, I don't know, the old lady, the teacher that's supervised the playground.
Yeah.
She devised a new timeout method called the box.
The box.
Remember that? That made I think his name was TJ or something.
Yeah, it made TJ go insane.
Yeah, he was literally insane for 10 minutes. Yeah. But it was a 30-minute episode of him going insane inside of this box, and it was just whoa. This is what happens when you get trapped in a box. I remember specifically when I was a kid, I wanted to draw a perfect box just to sit in it for 10 minutes to see if I would crawl into my skin and become insane.
Yeah.
I couldn't draw a perfect box though, so
that was the problem.
Yeah, that was the problem.
But yeah, the characters are loosely based off the Hogan's Heroes characters, and there's an episode where they go to an old folks home and they befriend these old people, and the guy TJ befriends is telling the story of Hogan's Heroes. And he's like, I was in a prisoner of POW camp, and I had me and my buddies, and he names all the buddies, and they're adult versions of the Recess cast. And we had Colonel Clink, and Colonel Clink is a character from the Hogan's Heroes. And the openings are have the same similar military whistling.
Oh yeah, they did do that. I did like the Recess opening. Was really
great. It was.
I remember they made the Recess movie, but I don't remember watching it.
Oh my god, I remember the Recess movie. It was so weird. It's everyone goes off on their own, and TJ's alone all summer. He's freaking out because he's I don't have any friends.
Aww.
And he goes to school. He thinks he sees something happening at the school. He thinks he's going crazy, but it turns out the school has some insane plan to get rid of recess. I don't know. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then him and all the kids and the teachers band together and beat up the bad guys. And there's ninjas in it, I think.
Yeah, they were children ninjas. Yeah. They were 8-year-old ninjas.
Yeah, and god damn, that was a weird movie.
Oh man, our childhood was weird.
God damn it was. And that's the finale for Recess.
Oh yeah,
because it's right. It ends when the school year ends. King Bob's graduating, so he gives his crown to the next person.
King Bob.
You see people passing on the torch or finishing their projects. The diggers are filling their last hole. And then it's that's supposed to be the finale.
Do you
of the
know?
series.
I don't remember watching it. Do you know if the swing girl ever went over the top? Because that was her whole thing.
There's an episode where Spinelli sees her go over the top, but she keeps doing it, and no one else sees it. No one believes her. But Spinelli's I know you did it.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
So, this is a very nostalgia-heavy episode, because these are shows that we grew up with and really liked.
Yeah, we related to a lot of, like, these we didn't even relate to the themes, we just kind of, like, watched and it was kind of like, yeah.
I mean, we related to them, but we didn't realize we were. It wasn't a conscious thing back then. To us, it was just, I like the way TJ is a leader and Gus is nice.
Yeah, there were characters with good morals, I guess, and, like, obviously they all had their own problems, like, that's what makes you makes a good character, I suppose. And, like, who among us doesn't have problems? Even as, like, 8-year-olds.
No, the Weebler Supreme rapper character is very good. I deserve that.
But yeah. But there were other, like, Saturday morning cartoons that we watched that were less towards, I guess, like, 8-year-old me and more towards, like, 12-year-old me.
Yeah.
Like, Static Shock.
Oh, God.
Which was, like, I guess, like, my first foray into, I guess, a legitimate superhero show.
Yeah, and comic stuff.
Yeah, because I did remember watching, like, Spider-Man, but I think I was too young to remember that Spider-Man.
That's fair.
Because, like I said, the last thing I remember from watching that was Mary Jane turned into a puddle of water.
Real quick, this is how the Adventures of Spider-Man 90s cartoon ends. They have a really cool Spider-Verse storyline where Spider-Man meets alternate versions of him from other worlds. The last episode is him helping our world, as in the watchers, the people watching the show world. It's an actor who plays him in a live-action movie or a show. He helps him get back to Earth. He meets Stan Lee. He says, like, hi to Stan Lee, and he leaves. He's like, Stan Lee, thank you for creating me. And goes off into his own, like, he goes off into the multiverse, and Stan Lee's trapped on top of a building. He's like, how do I get down here?
Aww.
And then it's him and, like, the weird spider witch lady who was, like, helping him throughout the series, but, like, was weird and I don't think ever showed up in the comics. And, like, one other guy going off to the multiverse to find what happened to Mary Jane. That's how it ends. It ends with, let's go find Mary Jane.
And then we never know.
End of franchise. It's like, God damn it.
I remember I watched it and I was like, oh man, this is the worst because I never knew. And, like, I was like 8 years old.
Yeah, you
I'm
recognized how bullshit this was.
I was just so upset. I was like, fuck you.
But a good superhero cartoon was Static Shock.
Which had a legitimate ending, which I never did finish. I did have like 4 episodes left before I finished the actual Static Shock cartoon series.
Well,
but I never did.
Static Shock is interesting because I've been learning about comic history recently. Static Shock was a group of comics that were technically owned by DC, but not DC Universe produced. Like, they were its own thing. But
didn't Static start off as an animation series before they decided to make it into comics, or was it its comic?
No, it was a comic. It was a small time comic.
Oh, okay.
From what I understand, I could be wrong. It was a small time comic, and the house that it was like part of collapsed. But Static is the only survivor because of the cartoon it got adapted into. And then through the cartoon, it got brought into the Marvel Universe main. And DC Universe main. And now I don't think he exists in the DC Universe anymore.
I think he still does.
No, yeah, he had a series. I forgot. With the New 52, he lost his arm.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah, I don't like the New 52, but that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah, like, we're not going to talk about the 52 because I will be blindingly mad.
Yeah, we'll just yell into the mic for 2 hours. But the Static Shock cartoon was amazing.
It really was. Because it was kind of in the DC universe, but not really. Cause,
it was in the DC animated universe.
Yeah. So it had its own thing where I think it was the first thing that started out the metahumans thing.
Yeah, right? Metahumans was a term that existed, but it was the term for mutated people in Static Shock.
Because they had this thing called the Big Bang happen.
God, the Big Bang.
Yeah, which basically gave them
a bunch of people weird powers. What I really liked about Static Shock is it has a very strong connection to, like, urban and street culture. Yeah, like everything in it is people giving themselves names. It's people creating. It's called the Big Bang. It's not like the event that happened. No, it's like, oh man, the Big Bang, because it was a bang that was big. Like
it was very like giving yourself an identity that you can relate with, and it's really interesting because all the powers that these people had gotten was something that they themselves could relate to, like Hot Streak. He had anger issues.
And he became... he lit himself on fire.
He was a ball of fire.
I'm sorry.
Great balls of fire.
The bird chick really liked birds.
But duh.
It doesn't work with it.
No.
It's one of those things where if you want to look at every single character, it doesn't work 100%.
I think it would if you really like look super deep. Like I think the bird chick works only because
She wanted
freedom and blah blah blah, and
Ebon was black.
And he wanted to rule the world through shadows.
Yeah, I know. I was making a slightly racist joke. I apologize.
Which is why I ignored it.
Thank you.
You fucking racist.
There's a lot of character. One of the things I always liked was that it was very much a lesson show once in a while. Like, they had episodes that were the lesson episode. You know, don't bring guns to school because talk to people instead.
Yeah,
like the episode Richie got shot. Yeah, Richie got shot.
Yeah, Richie got shot. And he said that one line that stuck with me forever. Like, this isn't like the movie. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's a dark line, too.
Yeah, that is such a dark line. I'm just like, damn.
And the episode where we find out Richie's dad's racist.
Oh, yeah, that was actually really upsetting.
The racism episode.
Because I remember watching it, I was like, holy crap.
The episode where they go back in time and Static gets to meet his mom.
Oh, yeah.
Because she died when he was like 2.
Yeah, this show is very touching.
Yeah.
And also, very much for the kids.
Yeah, it's
like a late 90s, early 2000s kind of show, so it's very of the time.
I used to call it the first Black Spider-Man.
Yeah, he kind of is.
Because Static Shock he follows the Spider-Man mythos, you know, he gained power through doing something he shouldn't have. He gained power through it, and he's going to use his powers to be a hero, and also he's kind of a nerd.
Yeah.
Because he's a huge nerd.
He is.
He is the first... he's the Spider-Man that people my age really connected to.
He was our Spider-Man.
Yeah. And he was cooler, because he has electric powers. And rides a manhole cover.
Well, eventually Richie designed
something. Yeah, eventually Richie makes a thing.
Yeah, when Richie became smart through osmosis.
Yeah. God, that was...
that was like the weirdest thing to
Richie has superpowers now. Why?
Osmosis through Virgo.
There were particles in the air.
No, it was because of his continual contact with Virgo, which made no sense because that would imply that his entire family should also get the power too.
I think one of the things was that because of the particles of the Big Bang, like the little whatevers were still on Static's clothes, and the first person Static went to was Richie. And then I think I could be bullshitting here.
I might have to rewatch that episode where Richie gains his super intelligence.
They had some dumb reason for it.
Yeah, I mean, superhero cartoons and superhero comics in general do not make a lot of sense.
Yeah, they have their own logic, and you just have to accept it.
Yeah, it's superhero logic, magic.
But also, I always liked how it was canonical that Richie was gay.
Yeah.
He very in the closet gay, but gay.
Yeah. I kind of wish they explored it more, but
again, it's kid show, and that's something you can do in the comics.
He didn't exist in the comics, though.
Yeah, I know.
He was a combination of someone else and someone else
who was gay in the comics.
Yeah.
So, now Richie can exist in the comics, though. It's a reversal thing. It's like a weird Harley Quinn scenario.
Remember when Static went into the future?
Yeah.
And he met Batman Beyond?
Yeah.
And he met Future Static, who was totally badass.
Yeah, Future Static, I always thought outfit looked kind of weird, because it looked like jammies. Like, it looked like a whole, one thing.
Yeah.
He did, but it was because he didn't have the coat, and I like the coat. But Future Static was cool.
Future Static. Which brings us to our closing soon, I guess.
Oh, yeah, with Batman Beyond.
Because
Batman Beyond is the other big superhero. Like, DC animated universe started.
I think growing up, we were all kind of inner Batman fans.
Yeah.
No matter what anyone says, we all grew up watching Batman.
Yeah, the Batman animated series essentially made us Batman Hoop fans.
Yeah, it was
who hate modern day Batman.
It was the Batman animated series, and then the New Adventures of Batman, because the animated series No, the first animated series did have Dick Grayson in it. The second one was Timothy Todd.
Yeah, well, no,
I call him Timmy Todd.
Yeah, that's because
Jason died and they can't do it.
They had the show, and they reformatted a little bit to fit the animated universe, because it was like Batman happened, and then they had the Superman, and they crossed over a little bit, and then they were like, all right, now we're going to have a bigger universe, but now because of that, you need to have a singular style. So if you have crossovers, you can be like, hey, I'm here and I'm here.
Bruce Timm's Batman is my favorite Batman.
Oh yeah, Bruce Timm Batman is what I consider the
best
platonic form of what Batman should be.
He is the reason why I ever liked Batman. Like every other version of Batman, it's kind of like a really love-hate. Like, especially Batman these days, he's too dark and gritty. I'm just like, that's too influenced by like a lot of like Nolan-verse stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, Batman adopted 5 kids.
Batman is a guy who looks at small children and goes, I think you could fight.
Batman looks at small children thinking it could fill a void in his heart.
But through those shows, they brought a character who was first introduced in the animated series, who really shaped, like, I think, our view of what Batman could be, and that's Batman Beyond.
Right. Which Bruce Wayne is now an old crotchety man.
Well, I mean, he was always an old crotchety man. Now he's just physically an old crotchety man.
Yeah, like, no, he's like, he's old crotchety times 10 now, because he's like, he feels the pain of age, so he's like super angry.
And he doesn't even want to, he doesn't want to be Batman anymore.
And I think this is pre-Damian, so...
Yeah, this is before Damian existed in the comics.
Yeah, so it's like, he doesn't have like a technical heir, because...
All the other ones went off and did their own thing.
Yeah, Dick Grayson's no longer doing Nightwing or whatever. So
no, I think he was.
He was, because remember, Batman Beyond was also taking place after Return of the Joker, which is when
that wasn't
Tim Drake.
That was Tim. That happened to Tim.
So it messed everybody up.
Yeah.
So I guess I
thought only Barbara quit being a Batwoman from that.
No, because I think Return of the Joker was like kind of after.
Welcome to the Batman Continuity Cast.
I think Batman needs its own podcast, honestly.
We could do it.
We really should.
But anyway,
yeah.
Batman Beyond was a great show because it had a future punk environment. Like, it was all cyberpunky.
It had their own slang. I remember I wanted to use that slang so bad.
Yeah. Shows with their own slang is like, it hits you in that way where, like, I want to use this, but I also don't want to be a sad nerd.
My thing was,
but
nobody wanted to do it, so it's like I couldn't really do it. Yeah. It
was its own show. It was its own Batman continuity almost, but it also
had like the Batman feel where it was like dark.
Yeah, it has the feel of the gothic Batman, but also it was the first thing to add something new to it. Yeah. That everyone was just like, no, this is perfect.
Yeah, because Batman's like new and shiny and sleek, and it's like, oh wow, you're Batman, but you're not.
Also not Batman. You're what was his name?
Terry.
Terry is his own character, but also he is Batman.
Yeah, because he didn't really have anyone. Because I remember, what was her name? Amanda Waller. She wanted to. I think she orchestrated like a break-in.
That was in Justice League. We found that out.
Oh yeah, that was true. To orchestrate
the final episode of Batman Beyond is revealing that the evil lady, in order to make another Batman, was trying to make another Batman by having this orphan kid die, like have his parents die, and Batman would just be like, "Hey, new kid."
Yeah. Instead, I think what happened was she only ended up killing the dad because the parents were divorced. So Terry, in turn, had to move back in with the mom because I guess they had like split custody. So that's how. But it also had the whole mythos of because they had Bruce's DNA because both the parents had red hair, yet him and the brother.
They had black hair.
Yeah,
that was stupid.
That was really,
that's something so minor that like no one would care or notice.
Nobody did, but if you look at it, like like I remember rewatching Batman Beyond because I've watched this show like 3 times.
14 times. Yeah.
3.
I'm sorry.
God, get your numbers right. Anyway, but I remember watching this again. I was like, oh yeah, he totally had Bruce's DNA while he was fucking the mom.
Ew.
Yeah, it's really weird.
I mean, it was just like...
It was also the future.
Genetic splicing.
Yeah, existed. I was about to say, splicing was a thing.
Splicing was an actual, just commonplace thing in the future.
Yeah, like...
In Batman Beyond.
A cat lady was real.
The Catwoman was a Catwoman.
I think she wasn't she?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I don't remember if there was an actual Catwoman in it.
There probably should have been.
Batman Beyond was a thing. Batman Beyond also had... the spin-off series called the Zeta Project that nobody fucking remembers, and I'm just really, really sad about it because I really liked it. It was about a sentient robot who, because like the Zeta Project was based off of these like killer robots.
Yeah, it was. They had an episode where a killer robot was like, "I do not wish to kill anymore."
Yeah, in
I am
Batman
happy.
Beyond, and that robot escaped. In which, like literally 2 weeks later, they introduced the Zeta Project.
Yeah,
which was that robot becoming his own person and then meeting this girl sidekick called Ro. You would have liked her.
Yeah, probably.
You would have liked her.
Again, formulative years.
She was a spunky blonde chick who took no shit.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
She was great. You should watch the Zeta Project.
I should.
The thing with the Zeta Project is, I guess it's because the ratings got so low that... Because he wanted to find his creator to see why he was feeling like...
sad and mad and human.
Why he was feeling human. So they find the creator at the last episode, only to kill him off.
Well, yeah.
And that's how they ended the entire series, because it got canceled.
Of course.
So nobody fucking knows, which is what happens to most superhero shows.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, I remember Justice League Unlimited, which is the finale of the DC animated universe. It ends with, I think, Darkseid attacking, and they have a massive battle where heroes and villains have to fight together, and then it's just them standing on like an old style Justice League building, like from the Super Friends, just on the steps, and they're all just kind of standing around awkwardly, like, we're still villains. Are you gonna arrest us? And then they're like, you guys get like a 10-minute head start, and they're like, all right.
Okay, I guess we'll have to end it because
Yeah, we
super over. Next week we're going to talk about comics. Look forward to that.
Yeah.
And that ends our podcast.
Yeah.
I'm Ashley W.
I'm Adam. You can find me on Twitter at TheMangaHead or on Tumblr at TheMangaHead@tumblr.com.
You can find this podcast on iTunes searching The FeelsCast. We are also on Tumblr at FeelsCast.tumblr.com. You can also look it up on our WordPress, which is thefeelscast.wordpress.com.
Leave us a review on iTunes. Tell us about your favorite 90s cartoon.
Tell us your nostalgia, and if you don't want to leave us a review, fine, fuck you.
Tell us about how Fillmore is the best cartoon. Inflate our ego.
Yes, and like that.
Yeah. So bye. Thank you.
Bye.
We don't have good exit strategies.
No, we don't.
Scandalous. It's a miniature horse.